You know, I tried picking up this game to see how it was because, I seen a lot of people getting sponsored from it. So I decided to take it out of my own hands and decided to try it out, put a few hours into it. I put, I believe, roughly 4 hours in making this video. I do hope you enjoy it. This is an analysis type of thing if it's worth putting time and effort into this. Uh, the goods, the bads, and the annoying, I will say. But if you do enjoy this, do consider liking and subscribing, and I'll try my best to keep out what's popular and what's not, and like try stuff that you may not want to try. It's pretty, but it reminds me of Fallout meets Stalker meets Roblox. Start off, to start off, besides the typical how it looks, the graphics are pretty great, I will say. I did enjoy them. It does remind me of what I did say earlier. But the one problem that I have currently with this game is just you
Bro,
walk around so much. I
that's
kid
what
you
I'm trying
not.
to
I
figure this
spent
out.
like 30 minutes of just walking around two objectives. There is no in between time. Like maybe you want to do events and all that stuff, but for the most part, it's just
Oh, I'm not
go
supposed
to
to be
this
over
one
there.
place, come
Find
back,
somebody who
give
can hack a
him, give
PDA.
that person an item, go back to another place that he sent you, and rinse and repeat. There is
I gotta
nothing
stop
going
doing that. I gotta stop
else,
pressing C.
nothing
That thing
else
C
going
is
on after that
crouching.
point. One thing I do like about this game is the acting, though there is not a lot of voice acting and it's in a different language, so be prepared. The only slight problem is since there is no voice acting in English, uh, there is so much reading. The text that's going on right now that like you see is me trying to attempt to read it, and then I just gave up. Like it is paragraph after paragraph after like sentence after sentence. It's so much that like I just don't want to read no more. That's like the one downside is when you come into this game, you expect to like have a decent story, which kind of is, but there's just so much text that you have to read. It just makes it unworth it. Another thing that I do enjoy is that they do lay out just like random small events kind of everywhere, like the whole hunting down animals or defend people who are wounded or go kill these bad guys or I don't know what they're called, but in their own camp, which is like really nice, is really cool. You don't really feel like you're getting a lot from it though. That's the thing. It feels like you're more or less wasting ammo, at least from what I saw. And like the loot you get can't even like be processed into the currency
Yo,
from the
cop,
get
dropping
go.
money.
You physically have to go back to where your camp is or where your
I'm
headquarters
not missing out on event loot.
just to
You know, the,
process
not really an event,
the
but
loot
loot
you get
nonetheless. This is still
from
useful.
these little events. And
360
I
brick
found out later
beds.
on that like even one of the workplaces
Like,
that
this is
if you go
nothing
to
really
brand new, you
useful.
can't even buy
I'm
anything
getting
because you're
shot by
not
bad
high
guys.
enough reputation. It's an
Oh,
issue
point blank
that I
shotgun.
it kind of hate
Oh,
because like when you're trying to like make it
I'm down.
through the start of it
I'm down.
is like
I'm
you
down.
get to a place you expect to be able to
I'm
sell all your
down.
stuff, but you can't since you're not a high enough reputation, which means you have
Down.
to go out with all that loot in your pocket to
I'm
go
angry.
either make it
That
to
makes sense.
another place that you have a reputation to sell or risk it and try to do
How much did I lose? I
complete
lost all
some
my good
missions
stuff.
for them
Let's go back to
and
my good body.
risk the chance of dying nonetheless. And when you die, you drop all your
You don't
loot,
lose, like,
including your bullets and all the gear you kind of have, except for the guns, the armor,
wait,
and
they took
like
away all my ammo. I gotta go get my ammo back.
the small little things of like packets of like bullets that you can carry. But
Let's show
everything
my
else,
last
like
place of death.
single bullets and all that other stuff, like single bullets,
Let's
med
show my
kits,
last place of death.
loot that you did
It's
from
here.
events, and like other small stuff you just drop when you die, and then you expect it to go back to go find it. And like when I say you die fast, I mean you can die fast. Bullets and fighting in this game, though it is amazing, feels like the enemies are bullet sponges,
I dragged
but
myself. I
they
ran out
can
of
put
bullets
you
already.
down in like less than a second or two if you're not ready
Yeah.
or not prepared to catch you off guard. There's even like a clip of me walking past an outpost and like the AI messed up that caused me to like well caused them to have three enemies in one spot that instantly gunned me down to like 30% of my health that literally had to
Dude,
like
I just gotta
me
get
run
past these
away and then
guys.
they still pushed me on top of that and they ended up killing me, which had me do another 2 minutes of walking to get back.
good chances of eliminating that. Yeah, that was exactly what I thought. Oh, gotta run. Really? Really?
I wanted to get one thing
Okay,
also
where's the
very
body
noted
again?
about the wildlife. There is no wildlife. The world is very plain besides some things that can kill you, as in like electrical traps and wind gusts of wind
I
that can
got
tear
300
you up.
bullets in a dream.
But
Dream to get
the
my
only
body
type of
back.
animals you ever get are during the animal events or hunting down the animal den. Uh, that is the only form of wildlife you get. Sometimes they can spawn on you, which is kind of annoying.
And I
Other
already got
times
some of my
you have to go
gear.
find them. So you'll never ever, or at least rarely ever, see a wild like
Lost
an
like a chunk of my
animal
gear and
just
my loot. Fuck
out in the
all my
wild.
armor. God damn, brother.
You will physically have to go find the animal via the event of the hunting of the dead. That is the only problem that I have also with this game, is that there is nothing else but events. The world feels barren besides occasionally seeing like your teammates in quotes walk around. On that note, that is like the only thing that kind of makes the game feel alive, and like the occasional small pieces of loot that you can get.
Alright.
It's
Is
kind
my other
of
body still gone?
let down, even though the map
Yeah, my
is
other body's
super
gone now.
huge.
Damn, so you only get one mess
It's
up?
very much on the emptier
I
side,
just lost a bunch of
if you
armor.
know what I'm saying. Like I could spend 10 minutes running around,
You better have
and
enough.
like the
You
only
actually
thing
have
I kind
decent
of have
stuff.
to worry about is
A lot of
like
med
just
kits.
traps. That's it, just traps, or the occasional event spawning on me that like, or the event that I
I'll
walked
actually
in
put
on
it
that I
on.
don't know about. And like they don't really do a good job on telling you that the event has started until you either get shot, hear an animal, or get attacked by the animal. If you understand it, what I'm saying.
Yeah. The game, not so much, but the people, they seem to be very interesting, if I could say. It's funny, though. It's funny. Friendly? They look friendly. And Spain stock there. Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus. When the dog is floating! Ah, you gotta be kidding me.
One thing that I did figure out pretty quickly after this moment uh, was that the time to kill,
Is there
at
anybody
least for
nearby?
your own life, is very short, very quick. So much so that what happened is kind of proof enough on how fast the tide can turn. Like, don't get me wrong, I was fully ready. Had a shotgun in hand and everything, just missed 2 bullets and had a run back
I
and
went down.
fell into a shock. I'm gonna call it a shock. I don't know what it's called. And just like that, my life was gone. My loot and everything that I was grinding for a good while is now kaput until I either go back and find it or have a chance where somebody could steal it off of my body while I was gonna return. It's very much annoying, and like people don't really come to assist you as much as you would think. People would rather go for your loot, uh, which only happened once. Don't get me wrong, I've died multiple times in this section, but like one time I just caught some dude stealing and rummaging through my loot and just tossing it out, and like it was kind of unfortunate because I lost
Kind of annoying.
500 bullets and like a bunch of my own like loot that I ended up earning. But on the upside is that like this game may not be the
Kind
best.
of
It
annoying that I
is
went down
free,
again.
which is also like a very positive. You can always just pick it up and
I
play
feel
it
like they
whenever
just
you want. If
randomly
you don't
like
like
to
it,
randomly throw stuff
or if
at
you
you.
love it, you can keep playing it. It is very grindy, and the people are also very nice. I did interview a person who was very freely like open about why they got into the game and everything, which was
I'm
like
not.
pretty shocking. I just
Hey,
told him, I
not
was like, "Oh yeah,
Australia.
I'm doing this little interview style," but we did not talk. It was all through the game chat of like the
Damn.
stalkers like individually.
I died
I will
so
show
far
it myself.
away. I just know what they're doing.
Let me say they're addicted. Here's the dynamite away. Okay, we should agree with that. Okay, so the people get getting dumped from looting and going from getting to fight, but that is like every other PvP game. Yeah, makes sense. It might get fun, to be honest. You ever look into Stargate to see what the game started to into influencing from? It's just mixed with PvP. Die. You're showing my hand. I'm just my hand. Die. Woo! Wait, right, I got my chance. Does this go away or do I have to like heal myself? That's crazy. Damn, that sounded like quick. Mind you, this world is not very forgiving. I've done so much. This is like a case of just like where radiation would almost insta kill me. I've died
Whoa.
here. And I don't think I've even finished it. I think I just stopped
What
it because it
ending
was
for
just so
that?
painful how much money and stuff I wasted.
Ending for ground resistance?
Not real life money, of course, their own currency that they use. I don't know what's called. But I use that and like every time you die you have to pay
What's that?
for it. Like buy your stuff back basically. Or buy a new set of it.
I'll run it.
I spent so much time because this game is
What is
very
it?
rough. It does
Is
not
that the killing
hold your
fast?
hand at
Oh,
any
it is
very
fast.
moment.
It's killing. I
It
need
will
15
rather
to
throw you
reduce
in
that.
and just hope you learn, which is what some people
Huh.
do like, of course, don't get me wrong. But if you're trying to like attract a certain type of player, like if you don't like a game that like flat out does not like you in quotes, like I'm not saying the game doesn't like you.
Why did my screen
It's
come
just
back
like
to
the
normal?
world is very hazardous. It will just flat out try to kill you sometimes. In this case, like I almost
Come
died
on,
from a shock
work.
right there. I'm getting
Come
myself out of
on,
hand, I
work.
believe. Like this game is not for the kindest, and like on top of
Grabbing me.
that, some of the products,
The
not
pups are
products, but
grabbing me.
like in this case, it would be usables that you can use to like reduce radiation and everything. Doesn't really feel like
That's
it
the
helps a lot.
stash.
It reduces it by like a couple seconds
It's pretty
to
deep.
give you like a split, like maybe like a 30, like an extra 10 seconds to do the what you need to do.
Oh, I fell.
But
I
it
fell.
still doesn't really justify using it as much unless you physically have to.
I fell.
On top of that, like it requires you to use so much of like a list of like radiation protection, radiation removal, plus a med kit to like negate all of the effects that you've just gone through, which is kind of rough. But if that's your type of style where you physically have to prep multiple things per run, I say go for it. And on this note, I will be leaving it off. With this event going on, don't get me wrong, it's my first ever like big event
Let's see
of like a
this.
volcano erupting, which was pretty interesting. I did
That
enjoy
is a
the
big
whole
fly.
volcano eruption. It did have a
Whoa,
unique
whoa, whoa,
feeling
whoa,
of
whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa,
Like it
whoa, whoa,
doesn't
whoa.
really show much, as in
No,
like
it's
lava
not.
or anything going off in the sky or anything like that. But what it does do is raise the heat temperature. So as you step outside, you start taking a bunch of damage. which was like pretty nice. The whole screen shake and everything, and your whole like this is taken at night in the city in the game. Like, but like it changed it to all red, red sky and everything, which was like so cool. I really did enjoy like having that whole thing going off and well, not go yeah, going off and happening. It did feel very
Okay.
unique, like its own type of way. But should you try this game? It's very much on the user. I will say always go for it since it is free. It's not much on like specs or anything. It doesn't really take a lot to handle. So I do recommend it, though when you do go
Oh.
into it,
Oh, jeez,
expect
it's just flat
the
out draining
game
my
to
health.
like do a quick tutorial, then like just flat out
That's
remove a bunch of
interesting.
your stuff, give you some free stuff like medkits and all that stuff. They will of course do that for you so you don't have to like waste a lot of money. But do be sparing on how you use all of that stuff. Though I'm not saying like be a
Is
hoarder
this guy gonna die?
because that won't work because you're gonna need to use all of that at one point or another. But what I am trying to go off of is like this game is interesting if you like the whole stalker like series or like you don't really want to buy a stalker, you want to like have a different way of like playing a game. I do recommend this. It is not much. It's literally free. It literally just takes your time to download it. Unless your time is that valuable, then I recommend you download it like overnight or something. On that note, would it be good? Like, is it good? Technically, yes. For what
No.
the value is you're getting and everything, I say it's worth it.
Sounds
Though, if you're
very
not a big
interesting,
fan of
actually.
like
I think this is cool.
looters and shooters, and like having to grind your way from the bottom to all the way to like kind of near the top, I do not recommend it because like it's more of a semi-serious type of game where you lose a lot
Yeah,
just
just
by
calm down
not
now.
having everything you need. Like you die, you lose everything.
Yeah.
But when you like do stuff, it's pretty great.
That's sick.
So take it with a grain of salt. And
Well,
this
that's a good
is
place to end it.
my goodbye. So hopefully you enjoy.